In 1991, I have not yet mentioned these things because these were mostly secret viruses. So in 1991 we had a Norton antivirus software, but also that was not as good, and again people started infecting viruses inside antiviruses, and that was the most creepy part because you cannot even save yourself when your antivirus itself contains the virus. In 1999 we had the Melissa viruses. I would be taking a big note on that virus at a later point of time. It infected thousands of computers very fast by sending copies of itself to 50 names in the address book on the Outlook email, and it led to an estimated around 80 million damages in something and record sales of antivirus products. So the main aim was to go ahead and shut down the production of antivirus. That's it. In 2000 we had the I love you virus, which was sent by email and infected 10% of the computers in only in one day, which was created by a young Filipino computer student. Although the computer student did not get punished because the Philippines had no law against hacking, which led to the European Union's global cybercrime treaty that we have today. And in 2001 we have the Nimda virus, which was days after the 9/11 attack, 9/11 attack there on US. So in 2004, the most famous virus of all time came into existence. That was MyDoom, and MyDoom spread through emails and file sharing software. It was very much faster than any previous virus or worm. And so after around 2 to 3 years, this most famous virus came, and it allowed hackers to access the hard drives of the infected computer. An estimated 1 million computers running Windows were affected by the fast-spreading Sacer computer worm. And the worm does not cause irreparable harm to the computer's data, but it does slow down the computer and cause some to quit or reboot without explanation. So you won't even know when that's happened. Then in the later part of 2006, we had Trojan horse for Mac OS X, and people used to think that Mac OS X was impenetrable and no one can actually go and hack into that, but later on, even that belief were crushed by these hackers. They created the first ever malware Trojan for Mac OS X, and later on they started developing these things. In 2008 we had Torpig. Torpig is a Trojan horse which affects Windows, turning off antivirus applications. It allows others to access the computer, modify the data, steal confidential information, and install malware on the victim's computer. And in 2009 we had Configure. Configure infected around from 9 to 5 million Microsoft server systems, French Air Force, Royal Navy warships, submarines, the Sheffield Hospital Network, UK Defense of Ministry, and many more. So these are the different types of all viruses. But over here, the most important and dangerous virus of all time were two. They were Melissa and the Love Bug. So these before I go ahead and explain it to you what these viruses do, these are how the viruses work. First, the virus arrives as email attachment or something looking as a Trojan horse. Then the email attachment may contain the email exactly won't be sent as MP3 or JPG or DOC, because nowadays Google directly scan these files. So they go ahead and encrypt these things inside WinRAR or attachment, something like that, a zip file, and when you go and extract it, you will find an MP3 or MP3, JPG, or a doc document. And when you go ahead and run it, the infection starts, and it not only starts on your computer, it will convert your computer into a botnet. So the attacker will go ahead and control your machine, and he will start sending these viruses from your machine to other computers. So your machine will be the king machine, and these will be the slave bots which would go ahead and be accessed from your computer. So if any person tries to go ahead and does any wrong or uses these things for wrong purposes, such as stealing anything, use it for theft, then you will be the person who will be caught, because you are the king bot and these are the slave bots. That's the reason. And finally, when the payload hits, at some point after the trigger, the virus performs what it's programmed for, and inserting jokes into your documents and loads of other things. And again it goes on, it's some kind of a loop, it goes on achieving the same things again and again. So these are how the viruses work. And finally, I'll now teach you the Melissa virus, which was it was just another virus that fired up the media. Was Melissa. It's a Word macro virus, Microsoft Word macro virus. When people received the host Word document via email and opened it, the virus sent a copy of itself to the first 50 people in the victim's address book. So if you go ahead and let's say, for example, as I told you previously, I'll just go to the previous slide. So you open this document, the Word document, and it will these will be the 50 computers, and to these 50 computers email will be sent out to you under your name about these Word files. So these people will think not 50 but at least 40 of them will think that you have sent this file, and without contacting you they will open these files, and each one of these people again send it to 50 people. So 50 people over here, and out of this all the 50 people sending these viruses to again more 50 people, and that's not quite that good, is it? And that's what this Melissa virus did. So it was very easy for itself to go and spread them. It was named after a topless dancer in Florida, the Melissa virus. It crashed the email servers of corporations and huge governments in different spots around the world. And the computer emergency response team, set up after the Robert Morris mugged up the internet with his worm in 1988, estimated that this virus at least hit a total of 1 lakh computers in its first weekend itself. And then later on, David Smith posted the infected virus as an all-period sex Usenet group using a stolen AOL account. Initially, he entered a plea of innocence, but after being confronted with a maximum of 40 years of sentence in prison, he eventually pled guilty and he received a much reduced sentence. So you can go and search for David L. Smith because he was the creator of that virus, and later on he was sentenced for some 5 to 10 years of prison. And after that we had the final virus of Love You and Love You Bug virus. By almost any measure, the so-called Love Bug was the most damaging and the costliest virus ever. I don't know who comes up with these random figures, but according to the Reuters, the Love Bug costed around 15 billion in the lost productivity in the whole world. And this spreads even faster than the Melissa. But unlike Melissa, it would mail itself to everyone in your Outlook address book, and to everyone, not just 15 people, most of whom would probably be delighted to read about how you love them, and not just the first 50. So moreover, it would just gobble up the certain media file stored on your hard drive. So any contact information that it finds, may it be in your email or anything else, it will just go ahead and spread itself to that random stuff, and it will affect everything. So these were the different types of viruses, and that's it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, I'll be teaching you about how we can go ahead and actually infect someone else's computer.